Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have one that I'm gonna have to read off screen because there are so many letters and there's no way I'm gonna be able to memorize it. So this is the Yangire with Raptor eyes, Moukinruizashi-hen. Wow. This is by Asayami, and this is apparently from Mayonaka Dance Off. Apparently this is one of ReeK's many aliases, and apparently is also a very spooky song, which is why I was told to listen to it specifically in October. So that's what I'm doing here. For a lot of you watching this might come out in November. That's fine. The point is, I'm listening to it in October, and that's what they wanted. So Gub requested this. This is what I'm going to be listening to, and without further ado, let's go! This is an 8-minute long song. So I have no clue where it's gonna go. They did say it's usually one of the more faster aliases, like stuff off this album, so. Woo. Okay. That is compressed to all hell. That is insane. That is nuts. Oh. Okay. I was not expecting vocals, even a little bit.
Forgiveness is breaking once I open them again. Make all I need you. Make all I need you. Make all I need you.
Oh, that's shifting things up. Oh god, it's very cyberpunk. Like, very cyberpunk. Ooh. Oh, that was disgusting. It's like if Doom Guy went to Cyberpunk 2077. That's what this feels like. Mick Gordon just decided to take a vacation. I didn't know ReeK could make this. This I knew ReeK could do. God, that side chain is insanely strong too. That's insanely strong. Break it up. A little bit of sound design. ReeK really does everything I love. Oh. Bringing the vocals back in right there. Brilliant. And I'm not even like halfway done with this, right? Oh, God, it's filthy. As expected. I'm probably just gonna keep referring to Asayami as ReeK, since I know. That was an immediate change up. I thought they were gonna do like at least another refrain of that. But they were like, no, we got places to be. We got things to do. The horror classic there. A little stereotypical, maybe, but a classic is a classic. See, like, now this feels a little bit more cinematic. This feels like it's trying to get more into, like, the horror movie vibe. A little atmospheric. But we're right back into it. Oh, it's so compressed. But that works perfectly for this genre. They just squish all of the things. Complete pancake. But again, for that like doom sound, that's exactly what you need to do. Ooh, that was weird. God, they're doing a lot of weird stuff with this one. And I love every single choice being made. I love these like occasional like returns to the atmosphere.
What you fear is
Oh, that sinking synth to the just crank it downward. I've talked about ReeK's mixing as well, like especially the stereo space a bunch. This is definitely no different. Okay, build it up. Where are we going for the last like minute of this? Okay, really cranking it. Ooh, oh shit. That caught me off guard. Yeah. Who needs a consistent time signature? Not ReeK. It's so nuts how ReeK does this. Nice tie back to the beginning on that one. And there it goes. Just falls apart at the end there. As it should with all of that going on. God, ReeK, Asayami, whatever you want to go by. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I'm not going to be yapping that long because the song itself was over 8 minutes, and if I yap too long, this video will be like 15-20 minutes. So in general thoughts, insane, same production value I love of all of ReeK's other work. Asayami's got to be an amazing alias if this is mostly what their sound is like under this alias. That's insane. Like, ReeK's production value has always been one of my favorites since I first heard it. That has not changed. There's just so much awareness that ReeK has about these little details styles in the mix. I always talked about the stereo space and how they're like throwing things in. The panning is nuts and so well thought out. And for this one, a lot of people would be like, well, it's overly compressed. And I mentioned how it's like a lot of compression, especially for those like metal drops in there. But that's exactly what you need to do in order to make it all fit. There's just too much going on. You have to crush it all down. When you have so many layers in a project, you can only make so much room for things, and it'll become hell if you don't make enough room for every aspect of the song. So when you have a lot going on, like in a project of this scale, you need to compress a bunch of shit. And for that like wall of sound style Doom-esque metal, you need to compress everything down because that's kind of part of the style in a way, but also there's just so many different multiple layers of guitar that are stacked and squished on top of each other to create that effect that if you didn't have it, it wouldn't sound like this. And then you add all the electronic stuff going on there, all of that is active as well, so you just need a lot of room. The compression is insanely important for this song. I'm glad that ReeK was aware of that and didn't try to make it work where it didn't, because even though it was overly compressed and you can tell, and the side chain was insane for a lot of it, especially that first half, there's still the aspect of being aware enough to know when and when to not to do stuff like that. And for this song, with how busy it was, it totally makes sense. ReeK is just a fucking god at mixing and production, making sure all of that is balanced and well handled, and it just sounds amazing. Like, this is such a cool blend. I'm not straying away from that comparison where I'm like, what if Doom Guy went to the Cyberpunk 2077 universe? Because that is exactly what that feels like, especially that first half of it. The second half started to kind of do a separate thing, but it was still similar enough that I would count it, but it got a little bit brighter in the second half. Still a little bit spooky. It had that atmosphere in there, but I think that's what happened. They started very aggressively, but then for the second half, it just shifted to something that had a little bit more atmosphere going on. They wanted to play in that space, and just putting all that into the same song is kind of nuts too. Like, you could honestly take this entire track and separate it into two separate songs, and honestly, pretty much like right down the middle, you could just cut this in half, and it would mostly feel okay. You could kind of start it at that first atmospheric bit, and the second part of this song would just feel like its own project, and the first half would just kind of sound like its own thing due to the original sound of it and what they were going for there. So that's maybe my only gripe about the song, is that this is a really long song that probably could have been two, but at the same time, he blended it well enough that it didn't matter. Like, that break in there to go into the atmospheric stuff, it worked really well coming off the tail of what had just finished. So I don't really have a problem with it, but you could have split it, honestly. But like I said, I was going to keep it short, so that's all I'm going to say. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have something else from ReeK or anyone else you want me to get to, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if, like Gub did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where I have a tier that will force me to listen to whatever you want. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, any of that works. It doesn't really matter. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!